Hi, nice to see you all again. Um, I got a couple of mails and messages asking, and it's a kind of a coincidence also when I was just working with one of my coachee, and layer by layer, they say it's easy to peel a banana, but peeling a jackfruit is definitely a difficult one. And if you do not have those necessary tools and accessories to peel that jackfruit layer by layer, here it is. I was talking to one of my coachee, and this person mentioned that whatever step he wants to take, there's something that is holding him back. Whatever he wants to do, there is something that is holding him back. Whatever he thinks about doing, again, there is something holding him back. And as I've been working with this person for close to 10 days, connect every day, 1 hour, it's definitely just like a layer by layer I get to understand. And I feel that this is something, a kind of a common pattern most of us would have faced, or would have gone through, or would have seen this in others. What was holding him back? When it was just not only his belief, his thoughts, or questioning. We have this ability to question ourselves about our worthiness, capability, and all these factors. And here, per se, it was fear. Fear about so many things. And that's when, I thought, okay, let me record this. Uh, I mean, how do I say, more than a video or a podcast, an experience. And to the listeners, if in case you're listening to this on what is this podcast platform, I would invite you to hop onto this YouTube also, where you can definitely get to see something that I'm sharing on my screen. We all have been operating out of one thing, which is a very common element, and I call this, yes, it's fear. I mean, so many factors we can associate this with: the reptilian mindset, the fear to run away, the fear to take care of ourselves, the fear to face things, the fear about our own ability, whatever you want to call it as, and the fear about, like, what others are going to say. I follow a methodology, and it has kind of helped while coaching around 200 to 300 people. And before going about coaching them, I tried applying all these aspects with my own self, and with many strangers for that matter. It helped. And I call this as a quadrant quack or a duck out. Yeah, I mean, if you pick all the elements here in this quadrant, yes, you quack and you get the deal done. If not, just like a duck out, like in the game, it happens without scoring, without, and just a duck out. I usually ask people, when to write down about their favorite story, or which character they really like as a child, or someone whom they really admire about. And what is that attribute about this particular character, or in the story, that they really like about? Uh, Penning down that really helps. And if in case you're also doing that, I would invite you to, grab a paper, or rather, I would invite you to grab a book and note down what is your favorite story, what is the character that you like, and why do you like this character, just in one word, that one attribute that actually invites you towards, or attracts you towards, this particular character. Second page, I would want you to write about what is fear, and whom do you fear about, and what do you fear about this person. I'm talking about, what I'm sharing over here. Sometimes we fear about, like, people around us, or situation would put us into such a scenario. This happens number of times in the corporate also. What would my manager say? What would my skip level manager say? What would my line manager say? What would who would say? I mean, you can definitely list down about that also. And in the third quadrant, or in the third page, I invite you to write about few things like, the internal thoughts. What were your internal thoughts when you feared? Whenever you feared, right? What did you think about yourself? We question ourselves on so many things, and this fear come out, when you thought about someone or about yourself dealing with the situation or that particular work. As you see, when we start writing down about what are the internal thoughts, or whenever I feared, what did I think about myself? And when I feared, where did it arise from? How did I deal with that? What was the situation that put me or pushed me into that? And now when you start looking at it, you would look at a pattern, like that you can connect with a habit, the thought, and your belief system also. And usually what I ask is, um, and action speaks louder than what, like sometimes, then we just think about what we want to do. How about penning down these and burning them to ashes? That's what I call it as a BTA. Nothing around changes. As we write down, we get an awareness about uh, what are the things that is holding us back, why we hold on to these things. Again, this is pinned to our belief system. The unconsciously, like we showcase these belief system which we have saved sometime a long time back consciously in our mind. There is a pattern that arises. We kind of find solace, or what to say, a comfort in these pattern, and we fear about taking decisions. We fear about taking the next step. When we can understand the belief system and the pattern we operate out of, fear is something that you can really just sieve it out, and you will know, as and when again such a fear comes in, we know how to deal with it. Because only when we give that muzzle, that energy, yeah, I call about writing the muzzle memory, what you call it as we write down about all these aspects, it helps us in dealing with things with ourselves first, to address the fear that arises from our internal. Because as we walk back our childhood, I'm sure there are a lot of resources which are lying over there. If we could pick that, we will know the way we are behaving, why we are behaving, the way we are thinking, why we think in this pattern. And few things unconsciously or in an autopilot mode we react or we work, and which is not actually helping us. We are pretty much aware about these factors, but we still find it comfortable holding on to same mode of work. That's because what we saved consciously as a fear to safeguard ourselves from avoiding taking a step, or from doing one particular work, or from committing ourselves to a task which would have just saved a bit of a time. But we've started implementing that in an autopilot mode unconsciously in whatever we do. Could be, if we can address this, like you are someone who wants to convert or transform your idea into a startup, go back and address what is that fear that is holding you from taking that next step. Might be you are someone who's confident about your ability to clear in an interview, but there is still some amount of that particular fear element which always puts you into a questionable situation, whether you can really, not by others, but by your own beliefs and the thoughts. Might be you are that person, like you've worked for quite a number of years, you've taken a break, and you're thinking about doing something. You're just fearing, what about my previous experience? Will anybody count? What about my previous exposure? Will I be really given a chance to prove myself? What about my previous experience? Can I utilize that as a skill when I'm getting back to job, or when I'm looking for a new job opportunity at this point of time or at this juncture in my life? So fear is something, I mean, it need not be always about talking on the motivational, because motivation we have to speak about. Sometimes that's a mirage, I would call it as. It's a mirage. So let us get, onto the ground reality and see how we can go about dealing with these fear elements. Most of the fear elements, yes, are born from, it's within, and it's all about addressing them. Situations surrounding people are also reason, but that could be sometimes like a 10%, but 90% is something which we built it. I'm sure you can really relate to 90-10 or 10-90% in terms of how we respond or react or how do we get work done. This fear I would also connect with FOMO, fear of missing out. In the corporate or at any place, sometimes we have so many ideas and we want to create something of our own, and we are in a rush. We always feel that if I do not do this now, I have a fear of missing this opportunity. It's important to pause. It is important to understand what kind of a thoughts are running in my mind. It's important to understand what is a habit that I am used to on a default or an autopilot mode that is actually not helping me. And I have been nourishing that habit or thought. What is that pattern? I know this is a pattern I operate out of. Why am I still utilizing the same pattern, which is not giving me the output or the outcome that I am aspiring to achieve? How about pausing and reflecting on these things? And if you can burn them to ashes, nothing like it. Let the ash serve as a manure. Let the ash serve as a memory. As and when the fear just, heads up and shows you that I'm around, it is all about knowing that, yes, this is something I'm fearing about. Might be when I do this, I can address and keep my outcome achieved. So, we'd love to know your thoughts, and we'll be back with yet another story and an episode from my end. This is Meera here for the Meera's Oasis and the Dino in Oasis podcast. Thank you. And I have something more also to share. And just waiting, like when I can share that also. And yeah, if in case you wish to be part of my coaching, wish to be part of the workshops that I conduct, you can definitely write to me. It's there in the description. See you. Bye bye.